What's up, guys? It's me, Jelly Knees. And Malaya has had a bunch of information kind of leaked, released, I don't know what you want to call it, about her between yesterday and today. So I want to go over that with you guys. So hit subscribe. Let's get into it. The image right here on screen was released by Mangoose and UG yesterday and is Malaya's icons on the right here, as well as talking about her class and all that kind of stuff. We already knew a little bit, but I want to go into it a little bit more. Today on the website, they released this, which I think gives a little bit more perspective about Malaya and all of her information. So Malaya's from Grin. We knew that. Her archetypes are Duelist and Fighter, which we'll talk about in just a second. She's a physical damage primarily. She's got mana as her casting essence type, and she'll use her claws as her primary weapons. So Duelist and Fighter, like I said, are Malaya's two main classes. A Duelist is an offensive 1v1 focused character that's able to win most fights against a solo opponent. They're strong enough to fight anyone solo and have the tools necessary to win the fights. They're usually equipped with one or more dueling abilities, and they excel at single target combat. So I think the thing that this really gets down is that one-on-one, she's going to do really, really good things and really a lot of work in that setting. And then combined with the second one, it's going to be incredible. So for Fighter, it's characters that specialize in extended fights. Due to Fighter's sustained damage, they are good in both team fights and skirmishes because of it. So they're equipped with one or more offensive abilities. They excel at dealing damage to enemies throughout an entire fight. So she's going to be really good at one-on-one and long fights. So she's going to excel in one or the other, or both together means that you're pretty much going to have little to no chance against Malaya in that specific setting. Now I want to talk about her icons more specifically and what they show and mean with the names that were given. So they released this page similar to Dante last week. We have the malware kind of corruption here. And we have all of the ability icons here, starting with the basic attack to the passive, to the right mouse button, to the regular abilities, to the ultimate. And if you do some digging, you can find the names of each of these. And so we'll start left to right. The basic attack, she's going to use her claws, probably melee range, do damage that way. Her passive is called Garnet Soul. Now, we don't know too much about this, but from what we were talking about in the Discord this morning, we were thinking that there might be some kind of cleave that every certain amount of time or every couple basic attacks, she will get a cleave out in front of her or in full 360, which could be very good to help her clear the jungle as effectively as possible. And then the weird little symbol on the bottom here could be that she gets some kind of shield or regeneration from that cleave, giving her sustain through the jungle as well. Her special ability or her right mouse button is going to be Hunt of the Dashe. And what this is, or what we think this is that she's going to select a target on the enemy team. And if she manages to kill that target, she will gain a boost to her economy, probably straight gold. But we think the downside is just the inverse of that, that if they kill her, they will get the boost of gold. So she could be the ultimate feast or famine myth. And if she feeds the wrong person or targets the wrong person, could easily snowball out of control on the other team's end. So it's going to be really hard to play Malaya effectively without feeding the enemy team, at least at first. So her first ability is going to be Razor Claws. And Razor Claws is, the image kind of gives away what we think it's going to do. It's going to apply a bleed on her basic attacks. We don't know if this is going to be just while the ability's active, if it's a toggle, or if it's for a certain number of attacks. We don't know that yet. Hopefully we'll get that information soon. But this might be why she's so good in those prolonged fights, that she can just keep applying this bleed to people and potentially reducing their healing as well, and just absolutely wreck anybody in a 1v1. The next part is Retribution. We don't know too much about this ability. It doesn't come up in her description at all on the Undying Games website. But what we do know is that she had this image released a long time ago, and she's got this bubble shield around her. So we're thinking that Retribution probably has something to do with that bubble shield. Something that was mentioned in the Discord this morning was that a character in Smite has an ability called Nemesis, which is that they get a shield and then they start healing based off damage dealt to them while they have that shield up. I think that could very easily fit in a Malaya style kit from what we think we know so far and what we've heard in her description. I think that could very easily be a possibility for this ability. The other thing you notice here is that on the inner part of this Retribution shield is the same symbol as the Garnet Soul symbol. So maybe they have some kind of inner workings together. I'm not quite sure about that, but we'll have to wait and see for sure. Her third ability is Crimson Dash. Crimson Dash, I think, is very obvious what it's going to be. It's going to be a dash of some kind, probably fairly short range, but we don't know for sure. The thing that interests me more is the Crimson part, and it could just be flavor text. I don't know for sure one way or the other, but what I'm thinking is that maybe in combination with her Razor Claws, that if the person's bleeding, she might get a longer dash or two dashes or some kind of reset or a lower cooldown or something like that, that it's more than just a dash, that there's some kind of inner working with the other parts of her kit. We saw with Dante that if he does his dodge roll, his evasive maneuvers, then he's able to use Go Long a second time. It resets the cooldown on that ability. So we might see something very similar to that between Razor Claws and Crimson Dash. Malaya's ultimate is Undying Garnet. If we look to Malaya's description on the Undying Games website, we actually know that Undying Garnet will most likely be that Malaya keeps herself from going below a certain health threshold. So for instance, if that threshold is 100 health, she activates Undying Garnet, and no matter what, for a certain amount of time, she can't go below that health threshold. So all in all, these items I think really give a lot of potential and explain why she belongs to the archetypes that she does, because she sounds like she's going to be an absolute menace to take on 1v1. Like, she just will absolutely tear through anybody, bleed, shields, dashes, the whole nine yards. It'll be really interesting to see how it's all going to come together. We'll probably get something tomorrow in terms of a spotlight or community corner or something along those lines. So we'll have to wait and see about that. But guys, that's going to do it for me. If you have any thoughts or feelings about Malaya's kit or what we talked about today, leave them down in the comments below. If you want to see more ethereal content, right over here I have a playlist of all the things I've made for you. On the other side is a video that YouTube's recommending just for you. And if you click the icon above my head, get subscribed, turn the bell on, and make sure you get all the ethereal content coming into the future. And I'll see you guys in the next one.